Welcome to the Memberships Mastermind podcast, the podcast that helps you create a profitable membership that serves you and your family.
Hi, we're Paul and Melissa Pruitt, and we help online entrepreneurs build, launch, and grow their memberships.
Each month, we host 2 live Memberships Mastermind Zoom calls where we coach and collaborate with other membership site owners all over the world. On each podcast episode, we bring you one question that the mastermind worked through. You'll get ideas and strategies that you can start implementing right away.
So if you're ready to fill in the gaps in your business, decrease overwhelm, and finally get all the answers on your membership that you've been looking for, let's dive in.
Welcome to the Memberships Mastermind podcast. Molly's question. I'm launching a 3-month mastermind intensive in September. Awesome. Any tips on how to start teasing, promoting now? Okay. So do you want to hop on the mic, Molly?
I realized that an ongoing membership was not as appealing to me as working with maybe a smaller group of people more intensely over like a short period of time. So that's kind of how the mastermind idea came together for me. So I'm launching it in September. I'm thinking to start, hoping to get some around 5 to 10 people. So in the meantime, on my website, I have a place for them to apply because I'm having them fill out an application to be part of it, just so I can make sure the people who are coming in are really ready to work and dig deep. And sort of I can kind of match people well. But in the meantime, I'd love any advice or experience you guys have and leading up to it, how I can start to kind of plant the seed and get people preparing for that kind of a thing.
Good. Well, let me open up the mic for anyone. Does anyone want to chime in any feedback or any ideas if you've done anything like this or been part of small group masterminds, what's worked well? I always like to open up first before we chime in.
Has anybody participated and or ran a mastermind? Go ahead, Mitch.
So I'm a member of Paul and Melissa's, and I'm using that methodology. And I sat and stewed about it, Molly, for a long time. And one weekend I went, I'm tired of stewing, and I just launched it that week. I just did the thing that Paul and Melissa talk about all the time. And I just said, look, I'm opening this up. I posted it on Facebook. Right now I have 7 members, $97 a month.
Yay.
Not a big expense, but they're gradually trickling in and I'm getting more comfortable. So I'm not doing the big launch thing because that scared the hell out of me, frankly. And it was just easier to just raise my hand and go, I'm tired of wasting my time. I'm going to do it. Anybody interested? And it's working out really well. I'm on my 3rd week right now. So it's brand new, but that's my experience. Not necessarily for everybody, but just dive in, do it. Don't wait till September.
Well, the funny thing is I launched it and I had a couple people I hadn't even told anyone really. I just had completely redone my website and I had 2 people already who wanted to come in. And I was like, wait, I haven't even I put it out there, but I was like, wait, I'm not in the mental space. But then the process of talking to them and summer schedules and kids home and stuff, we decided to push back till September. So the nice thing is I've already got people waiting to get in, but I would like to sort of figure out how to continue to build excitement. And right now what I'm doing is trying to just be out there serving, teaching, let people get an idea of what it's like to work with me. Because I feel like the best thing I can do is when I'm serving them, because then they're like, oh, I love your approach to this or how, so just kind of letting them have a taste of what it might be like. But I didn't know if you had any other insights or tips for me.
Just to give everybody else context, can you explain the membership a little bit to everybody?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a 3-month mastermind intensive. So it's kind of almost it's called the Heart and How membership. So I really like to sort of dig into things like people's purpose and calling and their gifts, their values that sort of drive their business. Mm-hmm. And then from that all the way to sort of building a roadmap to where you hope to be in the future, what your sort of dream business would look like and how do we get there. So everything from social media strategy, which is sort of what my, home base is I'm working as a social media strategist, but the heart part is really part of my passion. So I'm sort of bringing those 2 things together. I love working in this smaller, intimate setting with people. So that's kind of where this idea came from.
Okay, talking about price point and
yeah. I mean, do you want me to tell you what I'm charging?
Yeah. If you're okay,
I don't care. I'm fine. I don't care. Yeah, no, I'm charging for the 3 months right now. My price point is $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
People
is that per month or total?
Total.
Okay.
Total for the 3 months. And I'm doing like 2 Zoom calls a month with the whole group, and then meeting one-on-one once a month with people. And then just some like daily check-in, having a Facebook group where I'm hoping that as much, it's not all me centered, but it becomes this community of people too, where we're sort of helping each other and that sort of thing too. So that's kind of my goal.
Okay.
Awesome.
So the thing that I want you to think about though is because people are always going to know what they're going to invest in. So I know like the $1,000 will get them like the mindset of thinking like, okay, it sounds like it's going to be a 3-month program.
Mm-hmm.
Now the challenge with that is that you either have to resell them back into the next 3 months because you're going to be indirectly launching and relaunching.
Yeah. Like I'm graduating them, and then what am I going to do with them?
So I just want you to think, because there's going to be that element to it, because either you had to pre-sell an entire new group of people coming in for the next 3 months. So while you're serving those people,
I guess I didn't think about that. Yeah,
pre-selling the next batch.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just one thing I just want you to think about. That and when we're all good, better, and different, like not everybody, but just in general, a lot of us live in 30-day recurring cycles as far as income to debt. That we're very conditioned with, like, okay, we don't buy movies anymore. We get Netflix. There's like all these little monthly bills. So when you ask for $1,000 commitment, that's going to attract a different person than even having it at $335 a month, type of thing. So it's like, because somebody has to be in a financial position right now to put up the $1,000 amortize over the 3 months.
And I do say payment plans available. Do you think that solves that problem? Or do you think it's a different mindset completely?
It could be a little bit of both. Because when you say payment plans are available, but there's not an option there just to do it silently, what it then does, it puts the onus back on the person to be vulnerable, or reach out to you and say, I'm jammed up. I can't do it this way, but I can do it that way.
So offer
what happens,
both.
You'll have the silent people that are just like, won't go there. So it definitely would, if you look at a lot of the online sales pages, when they do announce a payment plan, it's just an option on there. That way people just know they quietly can go there. They can make a decision. They don't feel judged. They don't feel like they have to come to you and kind of ask for it. Feel that vulnerability of doing that. So just from a psychology standpoint, I would eliminate that weight off of their shoulders. But and at the same time is maybe potentially, could this be set up where if you wanted to model it the way that you're doing, I'm just trying to think through like how you that the initial investment is $1,000 in advance or a payment plan for the first 3 months. And how you can position it that this is an ongoing mastermind, but we like to do an initial probation period to make sure that you love what you're going to get out of it, and also that you're the right fit. We want this to be a long-term win-win relationship for you. But know that there is an opportunity to continue after it if you'd like to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And like roll it into like a smaller monthly price. That would just continue. And would you separate them from the main group so that the groups that are going through feel...
that depends on like again, this comes in, if you're training as a true mastermind, it all depends on where your vision is, because people's reality will be however you present it to them. So even any pay program that any of us have been in, the first version of the program, all of us bought in at whatever price, and it was presented a certain way. And then 3 years later, it's a different price and there's a different offer. So the people that come in today are accepting and they're okay with what it's offered, like how it is today. They don't know how it used to be. So it's looking at it like, is the promise that it is a rotating, mastermind where it potentially could be a different group of people, every 3 months? And or do you have an initial phase? Because there's other things. You need to indoctrinate, onboard people, get them used to the systems, get them in track, and the equivalent of an alumni or something that's more of a veteran style group. I don't know. This is just things to think about. Like, is that too complicated? In creating that. We've had programs where, I'll give you a different example, where we used to do private coaching, in different spaces. And We originally years ago started off at 1,000, and now these days we still do it on a limited basis. It starts at 2,000, depending on the time resource that we have. But what happened was we normally would do a 90-day period. And then after that, it would be like a maintenance plan.
Yeah.
Because the first 90 days was harder and more ramped up and more intensive because we were getting to learn each other. Like, there's things that are out of whack. It's like being a chiropractor and you come in, it's like, okay, you're way out of whack.
This one's going to take an hour. Yeah.
Exactly. Coming in for the weekly adjustment.
Most people understood that because when we explained, it's really, you have to get into that rhythm. Like, we can't, if you want results, like if you just were to invest in 1 month of coaching, you're not going to get the results that you want. But if you have that 3 month, then we get to do the plan together. We get to map things out. And then when we phrased it that way, most people were really receptive to that, to let them know that 90 days is important and it's required. And then we could do the ongoing monthly if you wanted to afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any price points you think for that monthly afterwards? I mean, are we talking like a $37? I mean, does it drop that low?
No, I wouldn't do that because then what you're doing is you're descending people.
Yeah.
So if people came in with a higher touch program, then that's mostly like what they were attracted to. Do you have the capacity? Like, how many of these groups do you want to run concurrently?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like once I get the first group through, it's kind of like when I teach my workshop. Once I get that first one done, then I love it. And it's, I'm just tweaking at that point. So I feel like once I get the first one through, then it will be go much more smoothly. So yeah, I mean, I would rather see everybody go through, I mean, just, this is my initial gut with like no thought except what we've been, me listening to you.
Oh yeah.
Is like, they would go through the mastermind and then they'd be in an alumni, like maintenance kind of a group. And the mastermind would still be like the onboarding process, very small and intimate. And then do you want to keep the momentum going? Kind of a group afterwards. So that was really only like 2 things.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm not sure if you want to jump down because they're going to, depending on your deliverables, being in balance, that they came to you for a certain level of access and certain level of conversation and support, that after that initial, they probably are still going to be looking for something similar to have that, and maybe even it's just a naming thing. So you have your initial mastermind and then maybe the next thing is the inner circle, and you have to go through the mastermind in order to get into the inner circle, type thing. So it seems more of a succession plan versus, and it's just your way of, the mastermind allows you to get to know people, make sure they're the right fit and everything. And then at the end of that process, you naturally give them an offer for them to be able to come into the inner circle opportunity. And that could technically be at the same price point. Like that could be like a $299, or $300 range if you're doing some similar, because you want to keep in mind that people are having a certain level of access to you. And when they're used to that and they rearrange your schedule and they're in that tempo, then they're going to get used to it. Like that's what they want. They want that daily fix and, or weekly or whatever it is. And then if you suddenly give them a completely different offer and it's totally different deliverables, then now it's like a new decision.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like, hold on. I was coming here for the pizza all the time, but now you don't have pizza anymore. You only have wings.
Right.
No, I want the wings. I'm sorry. Can you tell I didn't eat, Yeah. Well, we did eat, but it just feels like 20 hours.
It's just 4 hours. I didn't think about that. That's awesome advice. Yeah. That's fascinating. All right. Awesome.
Because this is the only thing for any of us that want to do in this direction. Because internally, I know you probably feel fulfilled taking people through a process, like coming through and them having that transformation and inside of that space of time. And at the same time, you will indefinitely have to go out and find new customers.
And that's going to be a lot of
and how you referenced it. So you're constantly having to create new opportunity. And it's like you're now in a transactional relationship because it's like fee for service versus how we look at our memberships. It's the difference between, we look at a course or like a one-time, like it's kind of like, first date. It's kind of like, okay, no commitment here, bought dinner, we're hanging out, we have a conversation, it's over, okay, we all move on. It's like buying any of the courses out there, right? But a membership, we look at, that's like a relationship. That's fair exchange of giving value and people investing. their time as well as their financial resource, because we want them to do
you
whatever
want
the
them to be
effort and
invested.
time is that they put into it. So it's just something, but the lifetime value of a customer is incredibly exponentially larger for that one person than you having to go out and do the same amount of effort to create the next person just coming in through the 3-month mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to put the same amount of energy and effort into creating that client, and you only get paid that one time for that fee for service, versus creating something where they naturally would want to stay with you, and the lifetime value of them would be so much higher, and you wouldn't have to go out and recreate the client over and over again. That's just something I just want to,
Yeah, that's really smart. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Christian just asked, what's your application process?
Yeah, right now I use HoneyBook to manage my clients. And when they hit the apply button, I just send them a questionnaire that just asks about their business, their social media handles, like how committed they are to like digging deep, where they have their pain points in their business, stuff like that. I'm happy to share it if you want me to, or you can even probably go to my website and fake it. Like you're going to be in it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool.
Yep, I will.
Awesome. If you enjoyed this podcast, then join us on our free live Zoom calls twice a month. You'll get to ask your membership questions and hang out with awesome membership owner peeps. Just sign up to be notified at membershipsmastermind.com.